The 2020 NFL Draft is in the books, and with the dust settling on the massive virtual event that was, the Denver Broncos are receiving some plaudits from around the web. The Broncos draft haul includes 10 selections plus 7 undrafted rookies signed. By now, most of you should know how Mile High Huddle views the Broncos 2020 class, which has been universally positive. We'll be publishing a video specific to MHH's draft grade soon. But as a team that has struggled to garner any clout from the national perspective, how do the big sites and publications view the Broncos haul? Let's take a look around the web. First off, we have Next Gen Stats, which gave the Broncos a score of 77, which was the highest draft score among NFL teams. Next Gen Stats said the Broncos were among 5 teams who, quote, prioritized athleticism and production throughout the draft as represented by average overall draft score of their class, according to the Next Gen Stats draft model, close quote. What about Pro Football Focus? The internet's leading advanced analytics outfit gave the Broncos a resounding A+ grade for their draft haul. PFF was complimentary of the Broncos' decisions on all 3 days of the draft, but with regard to 6th rounder Netane Muti, they said, quote, the oft-injured Fresno State product has the tools to be an elite guard in the NFL. We'd be talking about him in much higher esteem had he not had his last 2 seasons cut short with injury. He ranked first among all interior offensive linemen and 39th overall on PFF's big board, close quote. How about the mothership at Sports Illustrated? The worst grade SI handed out was a C for Arkansas defensive lineman McTelvin Agim, who was taken at pick 95 in round 3, with all the other day 1 and 2 picks receiving A's and B's. Here's what Andy Benoit said about his Agim grade, quote, Agim moved from defensive end to defensive tackle last year. It will be interesting to see where he plays in Denver. He might have an opportunity to develop through trial and error, as last year's 3rd round pick, Draymond Jones, and likely DeMarcus Walker, will be ahead of him in the rotation, close quote. Bleacher Report gave the Broncos 2020 draft class an A grade, with Joe Tanzi saying, quote, Denver surrounded second-year quarterback Drew Lock with plenty of help. Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler should take defensive attention away from Courtland Sutton, and they will open up opposing secondaries as deep threats. LSU center Lloyd Cushenberry III also reinforces the interior protection, so Locke will have time to pick out his variety of options, close quote. USA Today gave the Broncos a B+. Here's what Nate Davis said, quote, first rounder Jerry Jeudy is as polished an incoming player as you'll find at receiver, while second round wideout KJ Hamler should fly down the field, opening things up for Jeudy. Pro Bowler Courtland Sutton and tight end Noah Fant. Elway also reinforced the offensive line and patched holes on the defensive line and secondary. Ball's in your court, Drew. No pressure. Close quote. NFL.com's Chad Reuter gave the Broncos an A, while the New York Post also rendered an A grade for the Broncos. What's the takeaway? On paper, the Broncos did a phenomenal job of building that nest for Drew Lock. But as most fans know, it's not about which team wins free agency or which team wins the draft. NFL games aren't won on paper in the spring. They're won on the gridiron in the fall. The early returns are great, and the Broncos are teeming with potential. Now it's incumbent upon Vic Fangio and Pat Shurmur, as well as Drew Lock, to put it all together. For Mile High Huddle and Sports Illustrated, I'm Chad Jensen.